Senior, the 2 worst vitamins that weaken your legs. After 60. As we journey through life, there comes a time when our bodies begin to speak to us more loudly, more clearly, and often more softly. For many of us around the age of 60, we might notice some changes. Our legs, which once carried us swiftly up the stairs or for a long walk, may start to feel different. Maybe there's a heaviness in them, a fatigue that seems to linger longer than it used to. Simple tasks like standing for a while or climbing up those familiar steps start to feel like more of a challenge. It's not just in your head. This is something that many people your age are experiencing, and it's completely normal. But here's something you might not expect. Sometimes what we think is helping us, what we've been told is good for us, may actually be contributing to the issue. I'm talking about vitamins. Yes, vitamins. Those little capsules or soft gels we buy with the best intentions, thinking we're doing something wonderful for our health. What if I told you that 2 of these vitamins, often seen as beneficial, could be quietly making your legs weaker? It's surprising, right? After all, we've been told that these vitamins are vital for maintaining strong bones and healthy muscles. And they are, up to a point. But when taken in excess, they can actually cause harm, leading to muscle stiffness and joint discomfort. I want you to stay with me until the end of this video because I'm about to share some things that might really surprise you. These vitamins, which many of us regularly take to stay healthy, may actually be undermining our strength and, most importantly, our legs. Think about it. You might be taking these vitamins thinking you're helping your body, but instead they could be contributing to that heaviness in your legs or that discomfort when you try to move. It's not your fault, and it's certainly not a lost cause. Understanding this can make all the difference, and we can work together to make changes that will restore your strength and mobility. So let's explore this idea together because knowing the truth is the first step towards feeling better and regaining control over how we feel. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer idea of what's happening in your body and, most importantly, what to do about it. We'll talk about these 2 vitamins in detail, how they might be causing you more harm than good, and what alternatives are out there to help keep you moving comfortably and confidently. Let's take this one step at a time and uncover the truth about what might be holding your legs back. Because the more we understand, the more empowered we become to take action. Stay with me and let's uncover how we can turn things around together. 1. The impact of sugar and sweet foods on leg health. As we get older, our bodies begin to tell us things, some of it gentle, some of it a bit harder to ignore. One of the common changes we face, especially as we reach our 60s, is noticing how our legs feel. They might feel heavier, or perhaps there's an ache that wasn't there before. It's frustrating, isn't it? We've spent our lives walking, running, standing, and never thinking twice about it. But now, simple activities can feel like a struggle. Have you ever noticed that after a sweet treat, your legs don't feel as light as they used to? You might even feel some discomfort or a bit more heaviness in them. And though it may seem like a small thing, sugar, yes, the very thing we often turn to for comfort, could be playing a big role in how our legs feel, particularly as we age. It's something we often overlook, but it's more important than we realize. Let's take a closer look at how sugar, especially the refined kind found in desserts and processed foods, can affect our muscles and joints. We've been hearing for years that sugar can be bad for our health, but the connection to leg health is something many people don't fully understand. When we consume too much sugar, it causes a cascade of reactions in our body. One of the most significant is inflammation. Now, inflammation is something we've all heard about. It's what causes swelling discomfort and can even make our joints feel stiff. But it's not just about swelling. This inflammation makes our muscles weaker over time too. Think about it. The more sugar we eat, the more we invite inflammation into our bodies. And this inflammation doesn't just stay in one place. It spreads. When it reaches our muscles, it weakens them. It makes them less effective. So, even though we might be doing our best to stay active and healthy, we could be sabotaging our efforts with too much sugar. But there's more. Sugar also affects insulin resistance. Now, I don't want to get too technical, But insulin resistance basically means that our muscles aren't able to use the energy from food as efficiently as they used to. As we get older, our bodies naturally become a little less efficient in using the energy we provide them, but sugar makes this even worse. This means our muscles aren't getting the fuel they need to stay strong, without the proper energy. It's harder to keep our legs strong and ready for movement. And then there's the weight gain. Sugar is notorious for contributing to weight gain, particularly when it's in the form of sugary drinks, snacks, and desserts. Now, I know we all love a sweet treat from time to time, but when we consume sugar regularly, it's easy to pack on extra pounds without even realizing it. And those extra pounds, they add more stress on our legs. Every additional pound is more weight for our muscles and joints to support, which can lead to further discomfort and weakening over time. I want to share a personal story with you. A few months ago, I was chatting with a friend of mine. Let's call her Linda. Linda is in her late 60s and she's always been active, but recently she mentioned that her legs felt heavy and going up the stairs was becoming a challenge. She was puzzled because she hadn't changed much in her routine. As we talked, I found out that she had developed a bit of a sweet tooth, especially for store-bought pastries and sugary snacks. It wasn't that she was overeating, but those little bites added up over time. After some research, I suggested that Linda try cutting back on sugary foods and replacing them with natural options. Fruits with a sprinkle of cinnamon, or homemade desserts made with less sugar. After just a few weeks, she told me that she started to feel a difference. Her legs felt lighter, and she was moving around with more ease. Now, I'm not saying this was the magic cure-all, but it certainly helped. So, what can we do to keep our legs strong and comfortable, free from the heavy burden of too much sugar? It's simple. Instead of reaching for that packaged candy or sugary treat, try incorporating more natural options into your diet. Fruit is an excellent choice. Not only does it satisfy your sweet cravings, but it also comes packed with vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants that our muscles love. And if you enjoy baking, why not try making your own desserts with less sugar? You can still enjoy the treats, but with better ingredients that will nourish your body. In the end, it's about making small changes that add up to big results. You don't have to completely cut out sugar, just be mindful of where it's coming from. By making healthier choices, we can help keep our legs strong, our muscles energized, and our bodies moving freely. It's a simple step, but it can make all the difference in how we feel day to day. 2. The impact of fried foods on muscle. Health. As we grow older, we often find ourselves reminiscing about the simpler times when we could run without thinking twice or enjoy a long walk without feeling fatigued. But as the years pass, many of us notice subtle changes in our bodies. One of the more common changes, especially as we approach our 60s, is the way our muscles feel. Our legs, once strong and energetic, might start to feel a bit more sluggish, a little heavier. Simple tasks like climbing the stairs or bending down can seem like a bigger challenge than they used to be. One thing that many people don't realize is that the foods we eat can have a significant impact on how our muscles feel and function, particularly the fried foods we enjoy from time to time. Now, we're not here to make you feel guilty about enjoying a crispy snack every now and then. But it's worth understanding how certain ingredients like oils and fats can affect our bodies as we age. When we fry food, we often use oils that are high in saturated fats, and unfortunately these fats don't do us any favors, especially as we get older. These oils can cause inflammation in our bodies, which is a quiet yet persistent troublemaker. Inflammation is the body's natural response to injury or stress. But when it becomes chronic, as it can from a diet high in fried foods, it begins to work against us. Instead of helping our body repair inflammation, weakens it, making muscles more prone to injury and soreness. Let's take a moment to think about how fried food affects the blood flow in our bodies. The oils used in frying don't just sit in our stomachs, they circulate through our blood vessels, and over time they can build up in the arteries. When this happens, the blood vessels become less flexible and harder to expand, which means less blood is flowing to our muscles. And without that blood which carries oxygen and nutrients, our muscles begin to struggle to recover and stay strong. It's like trying to run a car on a low fuel, Eventually, the engine just can't perform like it used to. I'm sure many of us at one point or another have enjoyed a hot, crispy meal from a favorite fast food place. Maybe it's a basket of golden fries or a fried chicken drumstick. But after indulging, have you ever noticed that your body doesn't feel quite right? It could be that after eating fried food, your legs feel heavier or more stiff. It's no coincidence the oils and fats in these foods can slowly clog up our arteries, impairing circulation, which is essential for healthy, active muscles. But it's not just the arteries that are impacted. The saturated fats in fried foods can also lead to fat buildup in our bodies. We all know that excess weight puts a strain on our muscles, especially as we age, and every extra pound puts more pressure on our legs. This added weight increases wear and tear on our muscles, causing them to become weaker and more prone to discomfort. I'd like to share a story that might resonate with you. A friend of mine, let's call him Jack, is someone I've known for many years. Jack, like so many of us, enjoys his fried foods. He loves his crispy French fries and fried chicken, especially on weekends when he's relaxing. But recently, he's been complaining about his legs feeling heavy and walking up the stairs seemed to take more effort. After a casual conversation, I found out that his favorite treat had been fried foods almost every day. We talked about how fried foods could be contributing to his discomfort. I suggested he make some simple changes like baking or grilling his favorite foods instead of frying them, and he didn't have to completely cut out the foods he loved, he just needed to make them healthier. It wasn't an overnight change, but within a few weeks, Jack noticed that his legs felt lighter and he had more energy to walk without that nagging discomfort. It wasn't a magic cure, but it was a start. So, what can we do to take care of our muscles and legs and keep them strong for years to come? The answer is simple. We can swap out those fried foods for healthier cooking methods. Grilling, baking, or steaming are excellent alternatives that don't require excessive oils and fats. These methods preserve the nutrients in your food while giving your muscles the fuel they need to stay strong and recover quickly. I know it can be hard to give up the foods we've enjoyed for so long, but small changes like opting for grilled chicken or roasted vegetables instead of fried can make a world of difference. Over time, you'll notice that your muscles feel stronger, your legs feel lighter, and you can move with more ease. In the end, the choice is yours. By making a few mindful changes in the kitchen, you can help your muscles stay healthy and strong, and you'll find that your legs are much more willing to carry you through the years ahead. After all, our bodies deserve the best care we can give them. 3. The impact of white bread on muscle health. As we grow older, there's a quiet change that happens. We start to notice how our body feels not just in terms of aches and pains, but in how it responds to what we put inside it. Our legs, once so strong and nimble, can start to feel heavier, more fatigued. Simple tasks like walking up the stairs or standing for long periods might become a little more challenging. Now, this isn't something to panic about, but it's a sign that our muscles are telling us something. As we age, maintaining muscle strength becomes even more important, and surprisingly, what we eat plays a huge role in this. One of the foods we often overlook is something as simple as white bread. We've all had it. It's soft, comforting, and a go-to option for many of us at breakfast or lunch. But did you know that this everyday food might be affecting your muscle strength and overall energy levels more than you think? White bread, like many other foods made from refined carbohydrates, has a way of quickly raising our blood sugar levels. You might have noticed that after enjoying a sandwich or toast, your energy levels spike for a bit, but then you feel a crash soon after. This isn't just your imagination. It's how our body responds to refined sugars. White bread is made from highly processed flour, which means it lacks many of the nutrients we need, like fiber and protein. Without these vital ingredients, our body struggles to maintain energy over time. When we eat white bread, the carbohydrates are broken down quickly into glucose, which gives us an instant burst of energy. But here's the catch. This sugar is absorbed too rapidly, causing our blood sugar levels to spike. As a result, our body releases insulin to bring those levels back down, which can lead to fatigue. Over time, these frequent spikes and drops in blood sugar can leave us feeling drained and less energetic. For our muscles, This means that instead of having a steady supply of energy, they're left scrambling to recover, which can lead to weakness, stiffness, and a lack of strength. It's not just about energy, though. Our muscles need more than just quick sugars to stay healthy. They need the right nutrients to rebuild and repair after activity, especially as we age. White bread, while tasty, doesn't provide the protein or fiber necessary for muscle maintenance. That's why, if white bread becomes a staple of our diet, we might start noticing that our legs feel weaker and less stable. It's as if the body is trying to run on an empty tank. Without those important building blocks, our muscles lack the support they need to stay strong and functional. Let me share a story with you. A close friend of mine, let's call her Maria, has always been a fan of sandwiches. In her younger days, she didn't think much about it, but as she entered her 60s, she started to feel her legs getting tired more easily. She mentioned how walking even for a short distance felt like more of a challenge. Her muscles seemed to be losing their strength, and she didn't know why. As we chatted, she mentioned that she ate a lot of white bread at least once or twice a day. I suggested she try switching to whole grain bread instead. It wasn't about cutting out bread entirely, but replacing it with something more nutritious. Whole grains provide a steady, long-lasting source of energy, unlike the rapid rise and fall of blood sugar caused by white bread. After making that small change, Maria started to notice a difference. Within a few weeks, she felt a bit more energized and her legs didn't feel quite as heavy. Now, I'm not saying that whole grain bread is a miracle cure, but it's a small, easy change we can all make to support our muscles and energy levels. It's not just about bread, it's about choosing foods that give us sustained energy with the right nutrients to help our bodies work more efficiently. Whole grain bread. Oats, quinoa, and brown rice are great options because they contain fiber protein and slow-digesting carbs that fuel the body for longer periods. If you enjoy bread, that's perfectly fine, but switching to whole grain varieties could give your muscles the support they need, helping you feel stronger and more energized. Our legs are our foundation, and we can help them stay strong by making mindful choices in what we eat. In the end, small changes like this can add up. By choosing foods that nourish our muscles instead of depleting them, we're giving ourselves the best chance at maintaining strength, vitality, and mobility as we grow older. Our bodies are resilient, and by taking care of them with better food choices, we can continue to enjoy the simple pleasures of life with a little more ease. Four. The impact of alcohol on leg health. As we age, it's natural to notice subtle changes in how our bodies respond to daily activities. Maybe you've started feeling a bit more tired, or your legs don't feel as strong as they once did. You might find yourself thinking, I used to run around without a care, but now even walking up the stairs feels like a challenge. It can be frustrating, can't it? We've all been there wondering why our bodies seem to be betraying us when we've done our best to stay healthy. But here's the thing. Our legs, those strong pillars we've relied on all our lives, often need a little more care and attention as we age. One factor that many of us don't think about is alcohol. Now, I know many people enjoy a glass of wine or a cold beer after a long day, and in moderation it can be relaxing. But when we have more than just the occasional drink, alcohol can start to take a toll on our bodies, especially our legs. Alcohol can interfere with how our body absorbs important nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. These are essential nutrients for keeping our muscles and bones strong. When we don't get enough of these vital nutrients, our muscles weaken and our bones become more brittle. It's like trying to maintain a sturdy house without the right foundation over time. Things start to crack. And for many of us, this can lead to weaker legs, reduced mobility, and even more discomfort as we go about our daily routines. But the effects don't stop there. Alcohol also causes dehydration. You've probably heard the term alcohol dehydrates you, but what does that really mean? Essentially, when we drink alcohol, our body loses more water than it takes in. This dehydration causes our muscles to tighten up and become stiff. Have you ever noticed after a drink or two your body feels a little less flexible? That's the dehydration at work. Without enough hydration, our muscles can't recover properly from daily activities, making them more prone to cramping and fatigue. I want to share a story that might resonate with you. A friend of mine, let's call him Tom, had always enjoyed a drink or two in the evenings. Over the years, he started noticing that his legs felt more heavy and tired, especially after a long day at work. Walking, something he used to do easily, felt like more of a struggle. After talking with him, we realized that his drinking had become a nightly habit, sometimes more than a couple of drinks. Tom didn't think it was an issue. After all, a drink here and there didn't seem harmful, but his legs were telling him otherwise. We talked about how alcohol could be contributing to the muscle weakness he was feeling by making small adjustments, like cutting back on alcohol and replacing it with water or natural fruit juices. Tom started to feel a difference. Within a few weeks, his legs didn't feel as heavy and he had more energy to keep moving. Now, I'm not saying alcohol is the sole culprit behind leg weakness, but in Tom's case, it played a significant role. So, what can we do to help our legs stay strong and comfortable? The first step is simple moderation. Cutting back on alcohol can make a noticeable difference. Instead of reaching for that glass of wine at the end of the day, try replacing it with a glass of water or refreshing fruit juice. Hydration is key. When we stay hydrated, our muscles are more relaxed, more flexible, and better able to recover from daily activity. By making small changes like this, we give our legs the chance to stay strong, nimble, and ready for whatever the day brings. It's about finding a balance. Alcohol, in moderation, might not be an issue, but when it becomes a regular habit, it can quietly weaken our muscles and make us more susceptible to discomfort and fatigue. As we age, it's important to be mindful of how the choices we make affect our bodies. Our legs, our mobility, they are such a crucial part of our lives. And by taking simple steps to protect them, like cutting back on alcohol, we can help maintain our strength, energy, and independence for years to come. 5. The impact of processed meats on muscle health. As we get older, we may start to notice subtle changes in how our bodies react to what we put into them. What was once a simple task like climbing stairs or carrying groceries might start to feel a bit more difficult. Our legs, which have carried us for years, may not feel as light or as strong as they used to. This is completely normal, and it's something many people experience as they reach their 50s and 60s. But here's the thing, what we eat can play a big role in how our muscles feel and function. Some foods that we enjoy and think are harmless could be making those muscle issues worse. One of those culprits is processed meats. You know the ones, the bacon sausages, hot dogs, and deli meats. They're convenient, and they're often delicious, but unfortunately they're not doing our muscles any favors. Processed meats are high in preservatives, sodium, and saturated fats, which can have a surprising effect on our body. Over time, these ingredients can cause inflammation in the muscles, joints, and tissues. Inflammation might sound like a harmless term, but it's a slow, steady force that makes our muscles weaker, causes stiffness, and makes it harder for them to recover after being used. I want you to think about it this way. Every time you eat processed meat, your body is processing those preservatives and salts. It's like your body is having to work extra hard to break down something that isn't meant to be there, leading to a buildup of toxins. As a result, your muscles don't get the chance to recover as well, and this can leave you feeling more tired and sore than you would expect from everyday activities. Let's take a closer look at how these foods affect our blood flow, which is something many of us overlook. The saturated fats found in processed meats like those in sausages and bacon can contribute to poor circulation. Good circulation is essential for healthy muscles because it's how they get the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay strong and recover from the daily wear and tear. When our circulation is compromised, it's harder for our muscles to function properly. This lack of blood flow can lead to muscle fatigue, aches, and even cramps. I know these foods are often part of our comfort meals. They remind us of family gatherings or lazy weekends. But the reality is that over time, processed meats can be adding to the strain on our muscles and joints. I've seen this firsthand with a close friend of mine, Karen. Karen has always loved a good bacon sandwich in the morning and enjoyed a hearty sausage for dinner. But as she got older, she began noticing that her legs felt heavy and sore, and she was having more trouble getting up from the couch after sitting for a while. When we talked about it, we discovered that her regular diet of processed meats might be contributing to her discomfort. It wasn't that she was overeating, but those foods over time were causing inflammation and reducing her muscle function. She made a simple switch, swapping out processed meats for leaner options like grilled chicken or fish, and cutting back on the sausages and deli meats. Within a few weeks, she told me she felt a difference. Her legs didn't feel as heavy, and she had more energy throughout the day. She wasn't struggling to get out of her chair anymore, and the soreness in her muscles was reduced. It wasn't an overnight fix, but it was a clear step in the right direction. So, what can we do to protect our muscles and keep them feeling strong and comfortable? The answer is simple. Choose healthier protein options. Instead of reaching for processed meats, try lean meats like chicken, turkey, or fish. These are packed with high-quality protein and essential nutrients that our muscles need to stay strong. Lean beef is also a good option. It provides protein without the excess fat and preservatives found in processed meats. Incorporating more plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, and tofu can also help give your muscles the support they need without the inflammation that comes from processed foods. It's all about making mindful choices that nourish your body and protect your muscles. The key here is making small, consistent changes. You don't have to cut out everything you enjoy, but by gradually replacing processed meats with healthier options, you'll help your muscles feel stronger, more energized, and more resilient. And in turn, you'll be able to move more easily and feel more comfortable in your body. 6. The impact of instant noodles on muscle health. As we go through life, we often find ourselves getting busier and busier between work, family, and everything else we manage. Sometimes it feels like there's no time to cook a healthy meal. That's when we turn to convenience foods. Quick, easy, and let's face it, comforting. Instant noodles, for example, are a favorite go-to for many of us. They're fast, inexpensive, and can be just what we need to fill up when we're in a pinch. But have you ever wondered what they might be doing to your body, especially as we age? Now, I'm not here to tell you to never eat noodles again. We all need those quick meals now and then. But it's important to understand that foods like instant noodles, while convenient, come with some downsides that might be affecting our muscle health, particularly as we grow older. Let's start with one of the biggest issues: the high salt content. Instant noodles are loaded with sodium, and while salt does have its place in our diet, too much of it can lead to some real concerns. When we consume excessive amounts of salt, our bodies start to retain water. This causes swelling, especially in our legs. You've probably noticed that after eating a salty meal, your legs can feel heavier or even a bit sore. It's not just in your mind, it's the body's response to all that extra sodium. Now, this isn't just about feeling uncomfortable. Retaining water puts extra strain on our muscles and joints, especially in our legs, which have to carry all that added weight. The more strain on our muscles, the harder it is for them to stay strong, and over time this can lead to muscle fatigue, aches, and that heavy feeling in your legs. It's a simple chain reaction. Salt causes water retention, which puts more stress on muscles, making them work harder to perform even simple tasks like standing or walking. But the problems don't stop there. Instant noodles are also low in fiber and protein, two essential nutrients that our muscles need to stay healthy. As we age, it's even more important to ensure our muscles get the right nutrients to maintain strength. Fiber helps keep our digestive system healthy, and protein is vital for muscle repair and recovery. Unfortunately, instant noodles don't offer much of either. They're mostly empty calories that fill us up but don't really nourish our muscles. I want to share a story with you. My cousin Linda has always been someone who relies on convenience foods between work and family life. Cooking a full meal just wasn't always feasible for her. Instant noodles were a regular part of her routine. However, as she started noticing that her legs felt more tired and heavy, she realized that she might need to make some changes. She mentioned feeling like her legs were holding her back from doing the things she loved, like walking in the park, or even standing for long periods. We had a conversation about her eating habits, and she admitted that she ate instant noodles at least a few times a week. After learning about how salt can contribute to water retention and how her meals might be lacking in the nutrients her muscles needed, Linda decided to try something different. She started cooking simple meals with fresh vegetables and lean proteins like chicken and fish. One of her new favorites was a homemade vegetable soup packed with fiber and protein. In just a few weeks, Linda started noticing a difference. Her legs felt lighter and she had more energy. The soreness that once plagued her after a long day began to fade and she wasn't feeling as fatigued. By switching from processed quick meals to more whole nutrient-rich foods, she felt more energized and stronger overall. So, what can we take away from this? While instant noodles can be a quick fix when we're in a hurry, they shouldn't be a regular part of our diet, especially as we get older. Instead, try replacing them with home-cooked meals that are packed with the nutrients your muscles need. A hearty soup made with fresh vegetables, lean meat or beans can provide all the protein, fiber, and vitamins your body craves without the excess salt and preservatives that can weigh you down. Taking small steps, like swapping out processed foods for healthier alternatives, can make a world of difference in how we feel every day. And remember, our muscles are there to carry us through life. By feeding them the right nutrients, we can keep them strong, flexible, and ready for whatever comes our way. 7. The impact of excessive vitamins on muscle health after 60. As we get older, we often find ourselves being more mindful of our health. We take vitamins, eat healthier foods, and follow advice that we believe will help us age gracefully. We want to feel vibrant and strong for as long as we can. And vitamins play a big part in this. They're meant to support our bones, our muscles, and our overall well-being. But sometimes, more isn't always better. In fact, too much of certain vitamins can actually have the opposite effect, especially when it comes to our muscles. One of the most common culprits we don't always think about is vitamin A. Vitamin A is crucial for our health, helping with vision, skin, and immune function. But as with anything, balance is key. When we take too much vitamin A, especially in supplement form, it can begin to cause problems. One of the areas that can be affected is our muscles. Excess vitamin A can contribute to muscle pain, weakness, and even make our legs feel more tired or heavy than usual. It's like putting too much oil into an engine. Instead of running smoothly, things start to break down. Now I know you might be thinking, but vitamin A is important for my health, and yes, it absolutely is. But here's the thing. When we consume too much, it interferes with the body's ability to absorb other important nutrients like calcium and magnesium, both of which are essential for muscle function. Without the proper balance of these nutrients, our muscles can't contract and relax the way they should, leading to muscle weakness and discomfort. I remember talking to my Aunt Mary about her muscle soreness. She's in her early 60s and has always been very active. But recently she noticed that her legs felt weak and sore even after a simple walk around the block. When we talked about her diet and supplement routine, I learned that she had been taking large doses of vitamin A, believing it would help with her overall health. The excess vitamin A was affecting her muscle strength, and it was becoming harder for her to recover after physical activity. Once we adjusted her vitamin A intake and focused on getting nutrients from food like leafy greens and colorful vegetables, she started feeling better. Her muscles weren't as sore and her energy levels improved. It's a simple but important lesson. More isn't always better. Balance and moderation are key. And when it comes to vitamin A, less can be more, especially when it's coming from supplements. Now, let's move on to another vitamin that we often hear about, vitamin D. We're told that vitamin D is essential for strong bones and muscles, and it's true. Vitamin D helps our body absorb calcium, which is crucial for bone health. However, just like vitamin A, it's possible to have too much of a good thing. Excessive vitamin D can lead to high levels of calcium in the blood, a condition called hypercalcemia. This condition can cause muscles to become stiff, cramped, and sore, particularly in the legs and joints. It can also lead to joint pain and difficulty moving. You might wonder, how could I possibly get too much vitamin D? It's more common than you think, especially for those who take high doses of supplements or get a lot of sun exposure without adjusting their intake. The body can only use so much vitamin D at once, and when there's too much in the system, it starts to affect our muscles and joints in ways we don't expect. I've seen this firsthand with a friend of mine, John. He had been taking vitamin D supplements for years, trying to boost his energy and bone health. But recently, he started experiencing painful cramps in his legs, along with stiffness in his joints. His doctor discovered that his vitamin D levels were too high, and this was contributing to his discomfort. Once he adjusted his vitamin D intake and got back to a healthy, balanced amount, his muscle cramps and stiffness began to ease up. So, while vitamin D is essential for our health, it's important to be mindful of how much we're taking, especially if we're also getting a lot of sun or other sources of vitamin D. It's all about finding the right balance. The takeaway here is simple. Vitamins are incredibly important, but like everything else in life, they work best when we maintain balance. Taking too much of certain vitamins, like vitamin A or D, can actually do more harm than good. It's always a good idea to check in with a healthcare provider to make sure you're getting the right amounts for your body's needs. As we age, our bodies require careful attention and care. By being mindful of our vitamin intake and focusing on a well-rounded diet, we can support our muscles and joints, helping them stay strong and healthy for years to come. Remember, it's about balance, not too much, not too little. By taking the right steps, we can keep moving through life with ease and strength, no matter our age. We all know that our diet has a profound impact on our overall health, especially as we reach the age of 60. To maintain strong muscles and healthy bones, it's essential to pay attention to the foods we eat and ensure we're supplementing with vitamins in a balanced way. Choosing nutrient-rich natural foods such as fresh vegetables, fruits, lean meats, and whole grains will provide the vitamins and minerals our muscles and bones need. On the other hand, avoiding processed foods, those high in salt and preservatives, will help reduce the risk of inflammation and muscle weakness. A balanced diet not only helps keep your body healthy, but also helps you feel more energized, happy, and confident as you face the changes that come with aging. Remember, health is a journey, and small changes in your eating habits can make a big difference in the long run. If you'd like more tips and advice on maintaining good health, especially for older adults, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here to support you every step of the way on your journey to living a healthier, happier life.